What is up, everybody? Welcome. We're in the midst of week 31, 2024. In the endurance season, everybody's cracking, getting after it, getting the workouts done. Things are about to start progressing, getting a little longer for everybody, especially everybody training for Jones Beach 70.3. That's kind of the big one right now. Got a majority of athletes that, here that are training for that. It is should be a deload week for you. It's about the end of your second build block of training, and that's why I had posted the rest and recovery video. If not, I'll put another link up to that. It's very important on a deload week. If you've hit everything right leading into that deload week, that step back week, that's really where the fitness is gained. You've now fatigued your body more with volume and a little bit of intensity over a certain week period, couple weeks, and then you need to take a step back a little bit, let the body recover, let the body absorb everything, let the body refill its storages of energy, and then get back out there for the next block of training. And the next block of training, you're going to be over that 50% time frame now towards race day, and things are going to start to get a little longer. Things are going to start to get a little more volume, and it's going to be very important that we hit these times properly and don't overdo it in these weeks, even though we feel good and have some extra free time, because the work is coming. We're going to start putting all those last ingredients and those finishing touches on that cake over the next 2 months and be prepared for race day. With that, it's natural to start to feel a little anxious, especially even Ironman plan. If you're halfway through, typical 20-week plan, you'd be at the 10-week mark would be kind of how this feels for you. And it's natural to just start kind of second guessing the amount of work you've put in so far. But remember, it has to be a process from where we started with our base and what we did prior to the training plan, and work our way up in a nice crescendo into race day, where we're going to put that strong full day effort out on race day. All in all, I see a lot of people, they do too much too soon in the plan, and that reaches burnout and failure towards the end of the plan, where they're not motivated to hit those metrics in training and those distances we need closer to race day. And if they start missing those, they kind of stumble into race day, and it's almost like they've done the race already in training, and that's not what we want. So just remember, the race is not done in training. We're training for the race, if that makes sense. And as well, if you put your faith in a coach and faith in others that are, in the same boat as you, in the same pathway as you, you need to filter out the noise. Keep your boat above water is what I tell people. Is the only way a boat sinks if it's in the water is when the outside gets on the inside. So if your boat is floating along, you're doing good, and you start letting in all these other things and these waves in, or you crack your hull, that's the only way your ship's going to go down. So stay steady, stay strong, stay straight, and keep at it, and you'll sail right into race day. It's going to be that easy. With that, though, those pressures from the outside that are coming over your boat is what other people are doing. If you start worrying about what other people are doing in training, or why is this person training for a marathon and they're running so many long runs at such a fast pace, and you're questioning the way your training is structured. First of all, looking at anything on an app like Strava or something like that, there's so many different variables, and I really don't even want to get into them here. I could almost make a separate video about it on the things I've seen on Strava. But take pleasure in putting, if you're on there, what you're doing, that smart work out there. Maybe let people question you a little bit behind your back as, are they doing enough work? Are they doing the right work? And then all of a sudden, though, when race day comes and they see things pop up there, those race day splits, that's when the money's made. That's when it all comes together, and that's when you get your nice result and your magical race day. So stay the path. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about what others are doing on Strava. Things like that. I mean, I don't really even go on there much anymore. It's just, I'm just busy as it is. I call myself these days more of a creator than a consumer. So sorry I don't give as many kudos and likes out there, but I see what everybody's doing, and you're doing wonderful things out there. But just remember that. Just remember to trust the process, trust that smart work. There's a reason why you have a coach, is to get you there. And especially on my end of things, I always every athlete I've ever interacted with and touched base with to start training has always been set my coaching philosophy. And anytime that ever changes, I'll change my philosophy and put it out to everybody. But my philosophy is SMART goals, sustainable, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound goals that is sustainability in sport. I like to have the athletes come on board that want to do this for a long time and progress and not have to, take time off due to injury and things like that that could have been prevented. So that's why the training is structured like this. That's why we incrementally go about it. And it's scientifically proven to be the best way to gain fitness. So trust it. And yes, you're progressing. Don't second guess yourself. It has been a hot summer. One of the hottest, longer, humid stretches that I can remember in training in the last few years. At least that's what it seems like to me. So if you're out there still getting it done, controlling your heart rate, pace is staying the same, you're increasing your volume, you're increasing your distances, and you're still staying pretty steady, I assure you you're progressing. Because as the season changes and cooler weather comes along, you're going to notice some big improvements, and it's going to be pretty awesome when that happens. So you're progressing. Trust me. If I think anything's amiss or as I'm tracking you, I'll be, checking in on you and making sure everything's okay. Maybe there's other things besides the type of training we're doing that are causing that. And that's why that rest and recovery video is very important. It talks about the other factors of stress in life outside of the training stress that we put upon ourselves. So we talked about the mid-plan crazies. People talked about, fitness. Again, just remember, fitness is volume times intensity. That's it. You may say, I'm not going faster. Why am I not running or able to do more fast work in training? Is you're doing the intensity you need to do, but we're building for, most of you anyway, for a middle distance, full distance event. These are long endurance events. When you start talking even half marathon, 70.3, full iron, you're talking events you're going to be out there for, half marathon up to 2+ hours, and then up to marathon 4+ hours. Half Ironman, if you're very well, and you're hitting close to that 5-hour mark, or you're up there doing 7.5 hours. That's a long day. So make that the Ironman then. So what we're trying to do is, build that volume, that aerobic efficiency to be able to endure these events at a sustainable heart rate that's going to allow our body to produce the energy we need without bonking on race day for these extended periods of time. So doing the volume at the right intensity for these distances, and I've posted the chart numerous times on the race pace workouts and how it's a sliding scale that gets to lower zones as we get further in distance. Yeah, if you're training for a 5K, 10K, or sprint triathlon, and that's what you are racing this year, and that's the only things you want to race, we can go shorter sessions, a little harder and intense to get, that speed work and the threshold that we need. But that's not what all of you are training for. A lot of you are these longer distance endurance athletes, and remember that. And how do you know you're progressing? If you're midway in the plan right now and look back at the last week or two of the volume that you've put in on Training Peaks, look at the hours, look at the mileage, look at your long run, look at your long bike, then rewind a few months earlier into the season or at the end of your base building and take a snapshot of where you started to where you are now and how much work you're putting in. That's going to be basically the telltale that, yeah, you're putting in the right work, and you're progressing your aerobic fitness, which is what we really need to do in order to get you to where we need to be on race day. Missed workouts, it happens. Don't worry about it. We don't push things into the next week. That's why I always say, if you know you got a busy week coming up for the triathletes and runners, and you got that long bike, long run, those things, plan those and plot those into a day where you know you can get it in. Because a shorter workout, we miss it, it's fine. You missed it probably because your life is crazy and busy right now. So that was some type of stress and some type of time taking things up. It wasn't like you were just loafing all day. But if you're anticipating on getting that long bike, long run done, you have to push it to the following week, right? And then you have to maybe have an earlier long bike, long run the following week. You might have now only a couple days between these workouts, these long workouts, and that's no good. So we try not to push these long get those done where we need to get them done. Try and get them within the week. And again, we don't want to push a workout into the next week because that might eat up the rest day the following week. It is what it is. You can't make it up. We can sometimes play around with some extra volume on another run or two, but for the most part, just reach out if you're having a problem or something happens and you miss a workout. Next thing is just negative self-talk. When you ask, hey, you want to go ride, you want to go run, even if you're joking by saying like, I'm too slow for you guys, or I don't want to hold you up, like that's still breeding negative self-talk in you. That you have to have that form of positivity coming from you, and just knowing that I'm out here grinding. It doesn't matter if you're doing a 12-minute mile, 13-minute mile, or a 6-minute mile. When you're racing or training, it's you're doing it. You're out there, so there's just no need to downplay or down talk your type of what you say. What the words you put out there really do have true meaning deep inside of you. So if that's what you're saying out loud, that's kind of how you really feel inside, is that you're not good enough, or you're not doing what you need to be doing, and that's totally not true. So just remember that. And the last thing is just an analogy for the night that I was trying to think of how to sum up all this and this type of talk is, if you have a big cup of water, and that's, I did the building bricks a couple years ago. That was my analogy I used for training, and the bricks that we're building a wall for race day. But think about a cup. We're trying to fill that up for race day, right? If we get a full cup on race day, that'll be awesome. A nice clear cup of water. But as this starts filling up in training, we're putting drips and drops in it through all the things we're supposed to be doing, our swimming, our biking, our running for the triathletes, our nutrition, stretching, mobility, strength training, all these things are going in there. Sometimes you miss one, so there's a drop missing. That's okay. It is what it is. We're still filling our cup up, and we're still going to have a pretty decently full cup on race day. Now, what happens though when you put something else inside of that cup that should not have been there, whether it was something destructive in your training, or something not supporting your training, but something pretty big, or say it's just not doing the right intensity, training too hard? What happens in a clear cup of water if you put a drop of food coloring in there? The entire cup starts to turn that color. So you're starting to ruin the entire thing that we were building. And now it's not just going to be one workout or one bad decision that's going to do that, but it's going to be multiple things over time that are going to start to disrupt that cup of water. Now, what's the only way to, if we're in the process and we're time's ticking getting to race day, the only way we can get that water clear by the time race day comes is, unfortunately, either if it's too much and it's you've now spoiled that cup of water, we're either going to have to dump the entire cup out. God forbid. I second that, or think that's like injury, right? If you overtrained, that might be your injury, is we got to dump this whole cup out, take a break, and start over again, and that's not good. Or we have to just keep chugging along, then put extra effort into doing the right things to start diluting that water and getting it clear again. Because the only way to get a cup of water that you put food coloring in to change back to clear is just to flood it with more water until it dilutes itself and comes out, and then you'll get that clear water on race day again. So just something I'm thinking about, how we're trying to equate it to what it's like as this process is growing towards race day. So just remember that, every decision you make out there, every time you step out to do your training session, you just have to decide for yourself, is this decision I'm going to make fill my cup up a little bit more to get to race day the proper way, or am I putting in something that's going to start making this water not the way it's supposed to be? So think about that, and that's basically it for tonight. Going to be jumping on tomorrow, catching up with some people, and week 31, a deload week for a lot of people, but keep grinding, keep getting after it, and keep making those smart decisions out there. I'm starting to see people make more of these smart decisions. And, that's what you have to do, because on race day, it's just you out there. You have a lot of decisions to make. So if you can make them in training, you'll have the confidence to make those smart decisions on race day. So stay safe, stay healthy, balance that life a mile at a time. Catch you on the next one.